Choice is desired. It's craved. It is something that we want in our lives. We would all rather have opportunities of selection rather than being told what we have to do. Such is the case for school choice. And choice is more appealing, especially if a zoned or an assigned school will not meet the needs of children. But what is an important factor in school choice? Who makes the choice of which schools children will attend? Right, it's the parents. Therefore, parents are a very important factor in school choice. Florida has been referenced as a state in which school choice thrives. I happen to live in Florida, and I have had experiences with school choice. In a personal experience, my husband and I decided to send our children to public schools here in Florida. One of our children went to our assigned school, and he thrived, he made good grades, he performed well on standardized tests. Our district had a choice element set up to where parents could choose to send or take their children to a school outside of the zone, provided that the district approved. And in most cases, the district would definitely grant that request. And that's something that we chose for our second child. She attended a district school. It was not a charter school here in the county, within the district. And we made sure that she got to and from school. And once again, she thrived. She did well on standardized tests and currently doing well post-secondary or after her K-12 educational experience. When my husband and I had the conversations about where we would send our children, there were certain things that we discussed. And we made sure that we were making informed choices. We definitely looked at the needs of our children. We talked about the culture of the school. We talked about what is it the school could offer, or how was it the school could meet each one of our children's needs. And as you can see, it was different between our two children. For one of our children, our assigned schools met his needs. He was well taken care of. His educational needs were met. For our other child, we decided to take advantage of school choice. And in our case, for our children, it was a success. As an administrator, I've seen the opposite end of the spectrum. When we were at a school and we would work with certain families and we were trying to meet the needs of their children, and we were trying to do all that we could to help students. In some cases, parents were persuaded to bring their children or to take their children to a charter school versus their assigned or their zoned school. In some cases, when they took their children, apparently their children were successful. But in some cases, they would take their children for the first part of the year, but then the second part of the year, they would bring their kids back to us. As a school, we had no other choice but to take them. And not to say that we wanted to have a choice of whether or not we take children. When you work in public school, whatever comes in through the door, that's what we work with. That's who we put our arms around, and that's who we take in and we care for, and we love them, and we do our very best to meet their educational needs. But in a case where the parent has, and in all honesty, the parent has tried to make the best decision. The parent's trying to advocate for their child, because in the beginning they thought we were not meeting their child's needs. But then when they took their child to the charter school didn't meet their needs as well. And it's disheartening to hear the parent come back and say, well, this is what was promised to me. This is what they said that they would do. This is what they said that they could do, but they did not. And so now I see that this is a better place for my child. And in that case, the first half of the year was lost. Time that we as a school could have had with the child was lost. In addition, the funds that went with the child at the beginning of the school stayed with that charter school. So, in a case like that, the children suffer, the parents suffer. What I'm asking here is, what is it that can be done for parents so that they are in fact making informed decisions, making informed choices for their children? Do parents know how to ask the right questions of schools? Are parents in tuned to their children's needs? And I know some of you may say, well, that's not anything the school can do. And that's true. That might be true. But then the question becomes, if they're not in tune to their children's needs, what questions can be asked of them to guide their thinking so that they have that realization of, okay, here's where my child is. Or maybe they can say, I'm not sure where my child is, but the administrator or whoever that school official is can probe their thinking a little bit to help them along. It's such a sad case if school choice is something that we're saying, oh, you can take your child anywhere, but now you have parents who are out there and they become victims. They become prey for those schools who may not consider what are the parents' needs as well as the children's needs. Because if you think about it, the child's need oftentimes depends on the parents' needs. How can parents be educated rather than persuaded? How can they be empowered to make the best decisions for their children rather than being victimized?